Snake, do you remember the sinking of that tanker 2 years ago?
Of course.
Terrorists blow a hole in an oil tanker full of crude barely 20 miles off the shore of Manhattan. Your classic nightmare. It didn't take long for the government to put an oil fence around the whole mess. And then that massive offshore cleanup facility went up inside.
The big shell. I hear the cleanup isn't quite over yet.
It takes time. But in the meantime, the shell's become a landmark, a symbol of environmental protection.
Teams Alpha and Bravo. Deploy at the big shell as scheduled.
Approximately 6 hours ago, the big shell was seized by an armed group.
Do we have an ID?
Former members of the Navy SEAL Special Anti-Terrorist Training Squad Dead Cell. Russian private army members may also be involved. It's a highly trained group and they have the big shell under complete control.
Come in from downwind and pull up fast. Get ready to fast rope down to Shell 1. 5 minutes to ETA. Now your top priority is to rescue and safeguard the President. Team Bravo, watch out for Stillman's back and get those C4s disarmed.
What are their demands?
$30 billion.
$30 billion? What makes them think they can get that much?
There was a government-sponsored tour going on at the big shell that day.
Hostages, huh?
A VIP from one of the major conservation groups, and one from our own government. The most important person in a sense.
The most important person?
James Johnson.
The President?
Unless the demands are met, the terrorists intend to blow the big shell out of the water.
And the crude will ignite, turning the Manhattan Harbor into an inferno.
That's not the worst-case scenario. If the chlorides being used to decontaminate the seawater go up with the oil, toxins containing catastrophic levels of dioxins will be released. In other words, the bay's ecosystem will be wiped out, and the sea will turn into a toxic soup for centuries, becoming the worst environmental disaster in history. You have 2 mission objectives. 1, infiltrate the offshore decontamination facility Big Shell and safeguard the President and other hostages. And 2, disarm the terrorists by any means necessary. You should know that SEAL Team 10 is also conducting a rescue operation.
Is this a joint effort?
No. Foxhound remains a covert body. Don't alert them to your presence. That is an order.
This is Snake. I'm now inside Strut A of Shell 1.
How are things?
We're in luck. Looks like there are no sentries posted here.
What's the visibility?
The lights on the plant's struts are functioning. I won't have to use the IR goggles.
Any problems?
There was a brand new hole cut through the oil fence. There's someone else besides me that wanted to get in badly.
That's not possible.
What about SEAL Team 10?
They landed on the roof of the Big Shell as planned. And by the way, Snake, we're changing your code name for all following communication.
What's wrong with Snake?
Just a precaution. You are now designated Raiden. This will be your first sneaking mission. The arms will naturally have to be procured on site. Make sure nobody sees you. If you need to, contact me by codec. The frequency is 140.85. When you want to use the codec, push the codec button. When we need to reach you, contact you, the codec will beep. When you hear that noise, press the codec button. The codec's receiver directly stimulates the small bones of your ear. No one but you will be able to hear it.
All right. I'll contact you if anything changes.
First, make your way to the upper section of the Big Shell.
How do I get up to the next level?
There's an elevator at the far end of that area. Use that.
Sounds good.
Your new sneaking suit uses electrofiber technology, a byproduct of fiber optics research. The texture isn't far removed from rubber, but the material protects against a wide range of toxic substances. The suit itself has a wide array of built-in sensors. It is referred to as smart skin in military R&D. Data about damage to different regions of the body, including blood loss, is exchanged between the suit and the intravenous nanomachines to create a feedback system.
There's a lot of pressure on my torso.
Relax. The suit applies varying pressure to major internal organs to maximize performance and safeguard their functions. They call this the skull suit in Foxhound.
Skull suit seems appropriate somehow.
The hatch with a circular handle will open into the elevator area. Locate the hatch first.
Copy that. Moving on to main mission objectives.
You could probably get in down there if you crawl. If you hide well, you can probably escape when being pursued by the enemy. Whenever you crawl into a narrow space, the camera will automatically switch to intrusion view. Move the left thumbstick up to move forward, down to move back. Push left and right to turn in those directions. Keep an eye on the enemy and proceed undercover at all times. You absolutely cannot afford to be spotted. Unlike in VR training, you can use your gun from intrusion view in the field. Keep that in mind. Raiden, first get to the upper section of the big shell. Take the elevator in the north end of the area. To get to the elevator area, go through the connecting passageway to the north. The passage is behind a watertight hatch. It should look like a door with a circular handle. You're currently using artificial blood primed with nanomachines.
What did you do with my own blood?
It's being kept in cold storage. It will be circulated back into your body when you return. If the life gauge drops to the red zone, you won't be able to stop the bleeding by yourself. Bloodstains can give your presence away to the enemy. Be careful. To stop the flow, select a bandage from among your items. You can also go into a crouch or crawl and stay completely still for a while. All you have to do is stop moving for a duration of time, and your nanomachines will arrange for platelets to be produced in large numbers. The bleeding will stop as a result. The punch is the basis of hand-to-hand combat. Push the punch button. Hit it repeatedly to do a combo and take out the enemy. Unlike in VR training, you can fight in first-person view also. Use that to your advantage. Move in close to the enemy when you have no weapon selected. You can throw him with the weapon button. The throw inflicts greater damage than the punch. Keep that in mind. Move in behind the enemy and press the weapon button without moving the left thumbstick. You can put him in a chokehold. If you keep applying the choke, you can take him out altogether. The level of lethality is strictly your choice. Raiden. Push the right step or left step button while in first-person view to strafe right and left respectively. You can use the strafe to quickly slide out of cover and scan the area. Of course, you'll be spotted more easily when you're visible. If you spot a terrorist coming your way, let go of the button and duck back into cover. Once you see the codec screen, set the frequency by moving the left thumbstick left and right. Move the left thumbstick up or hit the enter button to start a call on that frequency. The codec is also capable of retaining the frequencies that you contacted in its memory. Move the left thumbstick down in the codec screen to activate the memory window. The memory window displays a list of frequencies used to date. Select a frequency and push the enter button to start a call on that frequency. Raiden, when you're flattened against a corner, you have the ability to survey the scene behind you while staying concealed. This is called the corner view. Use it to find an opening in their surveillance and move ahead undiscovered. Strafing is allowed, unlike in VR training. Peek by using the left step and right step buttons, and make jump out shots with the weapon button. Take advantage of the different options. Flatten yourself against the wall and push the punch button to knock and create a diversion. You can trick the enemy into coming over to investigate. Deception should be one of your strong points. Or is that only if the other party is a beautiful woman? If you find an item box, walk up to it and take a look in first-person view. You should be able to see what's inside the box. An item box can sometimes fall out while moving an enemy's body. Pick it up quickly. Once you put a chokehold on an enemy from behind, you can drag him around with you. As long as you don't let go, he can serve as a human shield. Keep in mind, Raiden, that this is a covert mission. There's a lot of them and only one of you. You'll be surrounded in no time if they discover your presence. Select a weapon and switch to first-person view with the first-person view button. You can now execute a first-person view attack with the weapon button. In first-person view, you'll specifically be able to target the head, feet, and other strategic areas. You can also aim your strike in directions not available from the regular point of view, overhead, straight down, and so on. You can strafe left and right even during a first-person view attack by pushing the left step and right step buttons. Also, the crawl button will let you go into a crouch. Push the left step and right step buttons at the same time to stretch up on your toes. This is a useful move when engaging the enemy from behind cover. Explore it. Raiden, the tranquilizer rounds vary significantly in effectiveness depending on the part of the body they hit. Hits to the extremities, such as hands and feet, take a long time to show effect. On the other hand, a direct hit to the head or the heart will instantly knock out the target. Use the first-person view to aim carefully. Handguns and automatic rifles inflict varying degrees and types of damage depending on where a shot lands. A shot to the right hand will disable that hand, and a target will no longer be able to run following a foot shot. Shoot a vital spot like the head or the heart to take someone down with a single shot. Direct your shots as the circumstance requires. Use the first-person view to aim. If you shoot out the radio behind the enemy's right hip, you can prevent him from calling in reinforcements. Use the first-person view for precise shooting. Push the crawl button while running to go into a roll. You can use it to jump over a short distance or knock out enemy personnel in your path. Use it to maximum advantage. Move the left thumbstick only very slightly to slow your walk. You should be able to move quietly over surfaces that would otherwise clatter underfoot. Push the left step or the right step button while in corner view. You will be able to peek out from behind cover and scan that direction. This will give you a better view of what lies ahead, but make sure that the enemy doesn't catch you exposed. Move the right thumbstick while in corner view to study that direction. You should be able to gather more information this way than from the regular corner view. Unlike peeking out with the left step and right step button, this method doesn't involve leaning out. Safety is an important consideration, so be sure to use the technique. If you have a handgun or an automatic rifle selected while in corner view, you have the option to make a jump out shot with the weapon button. You can take cover behind an object, wait for an opportunity, then strike rapidly. If you have the grenade selected during a peek, you can throw it over by pushing the weapon button with your back still against a shielding object. This should come in useful in situations such as discovering multiple opponents around the corner. Work with it. Keep an eye on how long a shadow you're casting. Depending on the lighting situation, the enemy could discover your presence because of that one small detail. Raiden, covertness is the keystone of sneaking missions. It's unwise to leave any trace of your presence, so I suggest you leave those things intact. Once you're spotted, Raiden, you cannot afford to relax even after throwing off the pursuit. The enemy will ramp up its security precautions to hunt out the intruder, you. Patrols may be increased as well. Exercise extreme caution. Even the enemies will have a harder time spotting you in the dark. The chance of being unnoticed is higher if you stay in darker areas. Do you have any spent handgun or rifle magazines? You can throw those with the weapon button after you've exhausted all the rounds in them. They have no effectiveness as weapons, but the sound of it hitting the ground may serve as a diversion. It could be used as a ploy to lure the enemy in. To select a weapon, push and hold the weapon menu button and open the weapons window. You will see an array of weapon icons. Select the desired weapon by moving the left thumbstick up and down. The chosen icon will appear in the lower right. You may notice a slight difference from the VR training mode. Any weapons you have from the same class are displayed on the same row. You can select a weapon out of the row by moving the left thumbstick left and right. The selected weapon should appear to the far right. Let go of the weapon menu button and the selected weapon will be in your hand. Follow the window instructions on how to use each weapon. Equipment, such as rations, is selected the same way. Just use the item menu button instead. Raiden, if we need to contact you, we'll initiate a call. If you see the call sign, push the codec button to open your channel. Raiden, if you walk around with your feet wet, there will naturally be tracks everywhere. There's very little hope that the enemy will fail to spot those. To avoid leaving footprints, crawl instead. Intrusion view does not guarantee your safety. If you're spotted, you will be attacked. Make sure you're not spotted sliding into intrusion position. A patrol could also start checking the spot where you're likely to be hiding in intrusion view. In that case, remain in intrusion and keep moving to stay out of the enemy sight. The intrusion view is no free lunch. Got that? Raiden, you can climb onto anything up to about waist high with the action button. It should come in useful. If you see an approximately waist-high railing, push the action button near it. You will be able to climb over the railing and hang down from the other side. This is referred to as hanging. Not only does it allow you to stay out of the enemy's sight, you will be able to reach locations that are otherwise inaccessible. You will be able to move left and right while hanging. You can use the capability move undetected. Press the action button again to climb up from hanging. A grip gauge is displayed under the life gauge while hanging. The grip gauge indicates how firm a grip you have. It will decrease over time as long as you're hanging. When the grip gauge runs out, you will fall. Climb up before that happens. Push the crawl button while hanging to jump straight down. But a jump from too high a location will take a toll on your life gauge. Check the ground below in first-person view before jumping down. The risk of leaving an enemy's body lying around is too great. If his comrades discover it, they'll be on the lookout for you. Whenever you take an enemy out, conceal the body to the best of your abilities. You can drag an enemy personnel's body. This is how to do it. First, walk up to the body, and with all weapons deselected, press the weapon button to pick it up. As long as you have the weapon button held down, you can move around with the body in your grasp. Release the weapon button to let go of the body. You can use weapons even while crawling. This is different from VR training, so you keep that in mind. The enemies check in with each other on a regular basis. If a man fails to respond, reinforcements are sent in to check out a potential situation. If they find their comrade unconscious or worse, they'll go into high alert. Make sure you hide the body securely out of sight to avoid this. If they spot you, they will call for a backup team, and that's a tough bunch. Direct confrontation would be high risk. Even if you are spotted, there are ways to prevent the enemy from calling in reinforcements. You can take the man down before he has a chance to call in. Get him before he picks up the radio, and you won't have to worry about the backup. You can also set up electronic interference using the chaff grenade. The enemy's radio will be useless, and no contact will be established with other patrols. Taking out the enemy's radio is, of course, an effective means of preventing communication. No backup can be called. Enemy patrols carry the radio behind their right hip. Aim from first-person view, and you should be able to put a bullet through it. If you take an enemy out without being spotted, An item box can sometimes appear. Don't forget to retrieve it. Approach the enemy undetected and train your gun on him before he can react. This is how you can hold someone up. Once the enemy raises both his hands, he won't put up any resistance. How you proceed after that is up to you. Move the left thumbstick lightly to walk quietly. Crawling also lets you move noiselessly. Consider both of these options. Press the lock-on button when holding your gun to activate the lock-on function. It is very helpful when you want to fix your aim quickly. Lock-on can only be used to fix your aim on an enemy's torso, however. Go to first-person view when you want to aim for an enemy's weak point. Raiden. Push the right step or left step button while in first-person view to strafe right and left respectively. Raiden, you should be used to the controls by now. Proceed with your mission. The clock is ticking. Get on the elevator on the far side of this area and get to the upper section of the big shell. You've acquired some ration. Good. This is a portable field food source that can be consumed to recover life. Select the ration in your window and push the Enter button. You can use it on the spot and regain some life. If you have it selected, you can automatically consume the ration the moment your life runs out and avoid death. Rations not only provide nutrition, they also stimulate the immune system and lessen psychological stress.
Not exactly gourmet, though, is it?
Stop complaining, Raiden. Got your feet wet? These are the basic controls for swimming. Stroke the water and move forward by pushing the punch button. Push it in rapid succession to swim faster. Change your heading by moving the left thumbstick. Up will take you up. Down takes you lower. Left and right to face those directions. The O2 gauge will appear under your life gauge while you're underwater. The gauge corresponds to the amount of air you can hold from a single deep breath. Once the O2 gauge falls to 0, the life gauge will start to drop. You need to be aware of that. Raiden, that door is watertight. Turn the handle to open the door. Face the door and press down on the action button and the handle will turn. Punch the action button repeatedly if you need to turn it faster.
Colonel, I've sighted an enemy sentry. AN-94 and a Makarov. Those grenades, all his equipment, is Russian-made.
Must be a Gerlukovich man.
Gerlukovich?
A Russian private army that was in line to work with the Shadow Moses takeover group 4 years ago.
What's their stake in this one?
They must have made a deal, an arrangement with the terrorists. They become a band of mercenaries, an army without a country.
Colonel, there's definitely another intruder in here besides me.
That's not a possibility.
Not a team. Looks like a solo job.
One man.
We may not know who he is, but he managed to take care of every sentry in the area. They're all out cold. Whoever he is, he's got some skills.
We need to get an ID. But for now, you can take advantage of the situation and get to work. There's a terminal in front of the elevator. A node.
Did you say nerd?
Not nerd. Node.
Oh.
Use the node to gain access to the Big Shell's facilities network.
Then what?
Pull up the map of the structure. That'll let you activate the Soliton radar.
The Soliton radar?
A radar system. Uses biological magnetic fields as input. These estimated enemy positions are projected onto a map according to reference points collected via GPS signals and field personnel reports. We need to get to the map through the Big Shell's node to put this data processing to practical use. The node unit is about 3 feet high. Should be colored blue. Each area has at least one.
How do I gain access?
Just push the action button in front of the node. The nanomachines in your body will take care of the security clearance and allow you access to the node. Complete the procedure before those sentries gain consciousness. If they spot you, you won't be able to gain access for a while. Stay on guard.
Got it.
Good work, Raiden.
The radar should be functioning now?
Let me explain about your Soliton radar system. The bright dot in the middle is you, Raiden. The red dots are your enemies, and the blue cone shape represents their field of vision. Your radar isn't affected by the weather, but if you're discovered by an enemy, you won't be able to use it. It gets jammed easily, I'm afraid. It's all made from currently existing technology. You won't be able to use it in an area with strong harmonic resonance, so be careful. The Big Shell's layout map should now be available after touching the pause button.
How do I save the mission data?
I've set aside a proprietary frequency for saves, and an analyst to work on the data too.
Jack, is everything all right?
What are you doing here?
Jack, can you hear me?
Rose, you're not supposed to be involved. What's going on?
Jack, I'm a part of this mission.
Colonel, what the hell is going on?
Raiden, meet the mission analyst. She'll be overseeing the data saving and support.
Why her?
The Foxhound analyst that was supposed to take part in this mission was in an accident. Rosemary was brought in as a replacement.
An accident?
And according to the files, she knows you better than anybody else.
Rose may be in the service, but an intelligence analyst is no field officer.
Not to worry. She has our technical staff at her disposal.
She's never been a part of a field mission. This is insane.
I have my own reasons for selecting her for this mission, soldier.
Colonel, I fail to see...
I know your VR training performance in and out, but sometimes that's not enough. You're familiar with the Shadow Moses incident?
You know I covered it in VR.
If there's a crucial tactical detail that case taught us, it was the power of the operative's will to survive.
I was trained to fight. My personal feelings have no place in a mission.
We've learned that it doesn't work that way. And on the field, you need all the help you can get.
Jack, you're stuck with me whether you like it or not.
Rose.
You need someone to watch your back. But I have conditions that need to be met, Colonel.
What is it?
I'll perform my duties and save that mission data, but I'm aware that technically I'm not part of the mission control team. After all, I'm just a normal girl who's worried about Jack. But that means, Colonel, that I am not required to follow your orders outside of my immediate duties. Jack is not simply a field personnel for me to track. His safety comes first to me, not the mission. And because of that, I will be monitoring and keeping a record of every communication you have with him, Colonel.
Given the circumstances, you're free to do what you see fit.
Hey, I prefer this to being kept in the dark waiting.
I'd like to make a request, if I may.
Of course.
His handle is Raiden. For the duration of the mission, could you call him that?
Yes, sir. All right, Raiden. Let me know when you're ready to turn in a save. The proprietary save frequency is 140.96. I just switched frequencies. Jack,
What?
do you know what day it is tomorrow?
April 30th. Is there something special about it?
Isn't there?
I can't remember. I'm sorry.
Oh well, I'll keep trying till I hear the answer. I'm gonna let you go now, Jack. Take care.
Raiden, the enemy sentry is regaining consciousness.
Be careful, Jack.
Find somewhere to hide until the elevator arrives. You must stay out of sight.
I'm under enemy fire! Secure the perimeter!
Stay on the lookout. Return to your positions. Stay sharp.
Who's there?
The terrorists call themselves Sons of Liberty.
Sons of Liberty?
The name of their leader is Solid Snake.
The hero of Shadow Moses? So that's why you changed my code name.
Right, but he can't be the Solid Snake. He died 2 years ago on that tanker after he blew it sky high.
Could he have survived?
Not a chance.
Colonel, I'm on the roof. There are no sentries, but it would only take one to spot me in this light.
You never had daylight VR training after all. Stay extra sharp until you can find a node to log in from.
What about the commandos?
SEAL Team 10 has landed on struts B and C.
And the president?
Seems he was spotted on strut B.
Strut B?
The big shell is comprised of shells 1 and 2. Each unit consists of a central core and 6 struts surrounding it.
So the whole thing is shaped like 2 hexagons connected end on end.
Exactly. And you're on the roof of strut A, shell 1 at the moment. First, get to a node. Log into the network.
Got it.